Hi there, this is Craig Beck, and congratulations. Welcome to the Stop Drinking Expert program. You really have made quite an amazing decision to join here. I know that sounds conceited, but it's got nothing to do with me. You see, millions and millions of people have a problem with alcohol, and only a tiny percentage of them will ever do anything about it. In fact, 2.5 million people every single year will die because of alcohol. And when you think about the number of those people, 2.5 million people, this is a socially acceptable, legal drug. The governments around the world say this drug is fine to consume. And yet heroin, people think, is an evil, nasty drug and destroys lives. And of course it does, but not anywhere near as much as alcohol. About 70,000 people die every year from heroin. 2.5 million people die from alcohol, and yet alcohol is the legal one. This is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the insanity of this drug that we're all supposed to believe is a social pleasantry, and we're all supposed to drink it and have no problem with it. And if you have a problem with it, then you must be weak and broken and something crazy wrong with you, yeah? So for you to be here, it takes a bit of bravery on your part, because what you're saying is, I don't like this thing in my life. I'm willing to believe that it's doing me harm and I need to address the problem. And you are in a very, very elite group of people. So congratulations, and I sincerely mean that. One of the first things I want you to know right from the start is I am not a doctor. And this course does not substitute professional medical assistance, okay? I'm an ex-drinker. I drank 2 bottles of wine a night plus a bottle of spirits over the weekend for probably nearly 2 decades. And I tried everything to stop drinking. I really mean everything. When I say I tried everything to stop drinking, what I actually mean was for probably about 15 years, I tried everything to give myself permission to drink. I used to take milk thistle tablets, which are supposed to protect your liver. And I thought if I take enough milk thistle, then I can drink. I would drink a pint of water before bed. I thought, well, you know, as long as I'm drinking water, I'm diluting the alcohol. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. I'd say for about 5 years, I became a complete wine snob. Why? Because then I wasn't an alcoholic. I was an aficionado, wasn't I? I was an expert. And I had a wine rack in my house, and some of the bottles of wine in my house cost $400 a bottle. Why? All just so I could pretend that, you know, I was elitist. I wasn't an alcoholic. I mean, alcoholics are those dirty guys in the park who sit drinking whiskey out of a brown paper bag. That's so beneath me. I'm a wine expert. Bullshit. 100% grade bullshit. All just to cover the fact that I was addicted to alcohol. So one of the first things we're going to talk about here is I'm going to address the most common question that I get asked is, normally people come up to me and they describe their drinking behavior and they say, do I have a problem? Because it sounds like I'm the same as everyone else. And if you do a little straw poll of all your friends, family and colleagues and say, how much do you drink? If they're being honest with you, they'll probably tell you they drink roughly the same as you. Maybe they drink a bottle of wine a night. And then you leap to the assumption that, well, if everyone's drinking a bottle of wine a night, that must be safe. And we'll come on to this in a moment, but there is no safety in numbers when it comes to alcohol. And just for the record, a bottle of wine a night is dangerously high. If alcohol is in your life and you're searching the internet for how do I stop drinking and is this normal and things like that, then you already have a problem. Because people who don't have a problem with alcohol don't end up here. They don't search the internet for things like that. They never think about it. I mean, if you change the substance, let's talk about mashed potato. I love mashed potato, you know, with gravy and roast beef. Oh, love it. But I don't eat mashed potato every day. And I don't go on the internet going, is it normal to eat mashed potato this much? Because it's not, it's not a problem for me. It's not in my life to the extent that I'm starting to think, actually, this is getting a bit weird. Alcohol, if it's in your life on a daily basis, you have a problem, full stop. And let's just end the conversation there, because alcohol is a benefit to nobody. All right? It's not like that you're weird and you're a freak and that alcohol is causing you big problems and everyone else is having a great time. Alcohol is poison. All right, and I'm not being melodramatic when I say that. Alcohol is classified as a poison. If you buy it in its neat form, it will come in a bottle with a skull and crossbones on it because it is poison. If you put it into a petri dish with human cells, like liver cells, it obliterates them like bleach. There's no difference between alcohol and bleach. What we're going to argue about here over that is a level of dilution. All right? So alcohol is diluted to the point where it's not fatal to you. But that doesn't mean it's not poison. So if you have alcohol in your life, you have a problem. End of that conversation. Let's just talk about why you drink briefly, because we'll come on to this in much more detail. But you see, we grow up in an environment in the Western world where alcohol is socially conditioned into us. In fact, you were born and somebody almost certainly celebrated your birth with a glass of alcohol. The champagne was opened. It has been in your life from the moment you took your first breath. And it's always around. It's used everywhere. It's there at Christmas, Thanksgiving, birthdays, funerals. It's everywhere. And everyone appears to drink, and virtually nobody appears to have a problem with it, apart from you, right? And so it becomes a part of our lives because we're taught to accept it as a part of our lives. And then we see it advertised on the TV, and they get away with anything. Because alcohol was around before the laws about marketing came in. You can't go on TV and advertise heroin. It's illegal. It doesn't matter what you say about it, you can't advertise it. But alcohol's been there so long, and we're so defensive about it as a drug that they just couldn't put the laws in place. So they can claim anything, and they do. They claim that alcohol makes you more sexy, makes you more attractive, makes you more confident, makes you more fun to be around, makes you sophisticated. Any number of bullshit things they can say, and they do say. And they also, the alcohol companies deviously employ PR agencies who churn out thousands of press releases a month. You've heard the red wine is good for you argument. In fact, this morning on Facebook, I saw an article saying drinking gin is good for you. And no mention of any alcohol company behind the report, but you can bet your bottom dollar that was peddled by a PR agency representing a gin company. And this sort of stuff is filtering through into society, unregulated, unstopped, every day. We're exposed to it non-stop. And we believe a lot of nonsense about booze. These things are all lies. How many of them do you believe? Alcohol helps you unwind. You believe that? Almost certainly you do. It's a lie. It's not true. I'll tell you why in a minute. Alcohol makes you more confident. Not true. Just removes your inhibitions. Makes you stupid. Alcohol is good for your heart. Not really. The chemical inside red wine that's good for your heart is just as abundant in red grape juice. And actually the alcohol defeats any benefits you get out of the chemical components. So it's a non-argument. You know, if red wine was so good for your heart, when you had a heart attack and you went to hospital, they would put you on Merlot, wouldn't they? Merlot, stat! But they don't, all right? Alcohol makes you more fun to be with. No, it doesn't. It just makes you stupid. And stupid is funny. And so on and so on. And then let's just deal with a few of those issues. The stress one is the big one, because I used to drink. And I used to believe that when I got home from work, the wine helped me relax. If I didn't have wine, I would just feel jittery and anxious all night long. Do you feel the same? Let me explain why. Alcohol is very, very devious. And it is the second most addictive drug on planet Earth. Only heroin is more addictive. Now what it does, it's like a computer program. When you drink alcohol, it drops a little piece of code in your head, a Trojan horse. And this command is going to stay in your subconscious, and it's going to fire off 24 hours after you finish drinking. So 24 hours after you've had a drink, this command will fire that will make you want to drink again. And it makes you want to drink by applying pressure on you, by making you feel stressed and anxious and, oh, like this. And what happens is you open the wine, you take a glass, and you go, ah. And you feel better because you've turned off the command in your head that the alcohol put there to make you drink. Now, you assume that this made you relax. The fact that you wouldn't have felt like that if the alcohol hadn't set the trap in the first place is not apparent. It's not logical to you. You just assume, I feel better. And quite rightly. I mean, that is the obvious thing to think, and that's how you get trapped in the loop. You think, I need a drink to relax. If you didn't have the drink in your body in the first place, you wouldn't need the drink to relax you. Okay? We're going to talk a lot more about this. But I want to keep these videos short so that you can watch them and pay attention and not drone on and on and on. Third point I want to make to you is you may be wondering, am I an alcoholic? And perhaps you're terrified of that term. I was. And even as though I drank as much as I said, 2 bottles of wine a night and a bottle of spirits at the weekend, I was not an alcoholic. I am not an alcoholic now, and I refuse to accept the label. I refuse to call you an alcoholic, and here's why. Because the word alcoholic assumes something, that you are broken, that there's something wrong with you, that you are weak, that there's a flaw in your character, that you can't drink an addictive substance and stay unaddicted. What's wrong with you? I mean, geez, come on. Look, alcohol is the second most addictive substance on planet Earth. If you drink it, you will get addicted. That's what happens. To then give someone a label and say, oh dear, oh, look, he drank alcohol and he got addicted, he's an alcoholic, is insane. It's like, imagine if I put itching powder in your pants and then you started scratching uncontrollably. And I came up to you and said, oh, look at you, you're a scratchaholic. Would you accept the label? Would you go around telling people, hi, my name's Dave, I'm a scratchaholic? No, you'd say, look, I'm only scratching because some idiot put scratching itching powder in my underpants. Yeah? So let's apply that same logic to alcohol. If you don't drink the alcohol, you're not addicted. You're not an alcoholic, you're not a scratchaholic. All right, here's how this is going to work. This section is broken down into 14 different programs, different parts. You're going to watch the video every day. This is video number 1, and then your homework is to listen to the audio track that is attached to this section of the course. Okay? Tomorrow you're going to come in. By the way, if you can't do it every day, don't worry about it. I've broken it down by days just for simplicity's sake, but if you do it every 3 days, it doesn't matter really, as long as you get all that information into your head. So you come back on the second day and you watch video number 2 and you listen to audio track number 2. So I think that's enough of me jabbering on for this video. Let's close it there for today. But as I said, please make sure you do the homework. Listen to track 1 of the audio in full, and I will join you tomorrow for part 2. Thanks for watching, and once again, congratulations. Welcome to the course.